Hey, Regicide. This is a story that I've heard a couple of different times, a couple of different ways. One, I saw it inside a. It was a story that characters told to other characters inside of a book. Uh, Maybe when you're older, I'll tell you what the book is, and you'll say, "Pops, the horse will sing," and I'll be like, "Ah." I also heard this from one of my engineering professors in college, Professor Lavi. He was kind of cool. He was from Iran, and at one point he threatened to have me caned. So, you kind of respect that. But anyway, um, this is an old story because, as I said, it was in a science fiction book that I think was written by a Polish man, and this Iranian professor told it to me, and I don't think he got it from there. But anyway, because his version had a slightly different twist. Um, there was a couple, an old man and a woman, and they lived in a kingdom and they were poor. One day the man has this idea, it's like, we're starving, I've got to do something. So he goes up to the king. Mighty king, I can teach a horse to sing. And the king's like, what? A singing horse? No one has ever seen a singing horse. I love the idea of a singing horse. The man goes, well, it's not easy. And the king goes, well, no one has a singing horse, and I'll have a singing horse. And then it says, well, there's some things that I'll need. You need to treat the horse as a person if the horse is going to sing, because only people sing, and if you treat the horse as a person, then the horse starts to think he's a person. And he says, okay, what do you need? He says, I need fancy clothes for the horse. I need best food for the horse. The horse has to eat steak and potatoes and all these wonderful things. The king goes, okay. You can't feed, and it has to live in a house, and it has to be like a people house. And so man starts specking all of this stuff out to the king, and the king has one of his courtiers taking notes. He says, how long will this take? And the man says, a year. And the king goes, okay. How much is this going to cost? And courtier adds up. King has the house built, gives the man a horse, gets a horse arranged. The man runs home and tells his wife, we're saved from starvation. She's like, how are we saved from starvation? He says, come with me. And he goes and he takes her to the house that the king has built. And all of this fine food laid out. Grapes, delicacies, raisins, and all of this wonderful food. Big steaks, and the finest food you can imagine. Big piles of mashed potatoes. I don't know. Anyway, great food. And the wife starts eating, and she's like, how did you do this? And he said, I told the king that I could teach a horse to sing. She's like, you can't teach a horse to sing. The man says, it'll take a year. Wife says, you can't teach a horse to sing. And the man says, we were starving. Now we're not starving. And we won't be starving for a year. In a year, a lot of things can happen. I could die. The king could die. The horse could die. But in the meantime, we eat like kings. So that's teaching the horse to sing. It's the difference between the two tellings was that the telling in the book had the guy say, and maybe the horse will sing, which is like him hoping for some sort of miracle that won't happen. But without that, it's still, it's a solution to a desperate problem. A lot of these stories have to do with starvation, which is amazing because now nobody, almost nobody, is starving. I mean, there's more food than there are people to eat it. Um, so, that's a marvelous thing that's only happened in the past 100 or so years. But nowadays, there's enough food for everybody. It's just getting it to the right places, which is the problem. But, you know, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago, starvation was real. So, anyway, sometimes the desperate times call for desperate measures. And, a lot of things can happen that don't go according to plan. And sometimes maybe the plan works. I'll talk to you later.